Alright, so about a month ago, I had built myself a side hustle that had actually generated me an income for the first time. It made me around 2.5 grand upfront in the course of 2 months, and it also now brings me in passively £300 every single month. So this was generally printing me money, and it wasn't anything complicated, it was just phone calls, there was no stock, there was no employees, nothing complicated, and I quit. I just walked away from it. And I'm going to go in a bit more depth on why. So, a little bit of context. I'm 19, I currently work part-time, and I think a lot of people my age have always had the same idea in the back of their head, that they don't want to just do the normal thing, which is a 9 to 5, and hope it works out. They don't want to work minimum wage or be told what to do, and I have that exact same idea. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to work for myself, and I want to build something. I want to be proud of what I do 5 years down the line. So because of that, I started researching, seeing what I could do online that could actually generate a decent income. And I'd seen many different ideas. Obviously, you see drop shipping, you see day trading, you see freelance work on Fiverr, you see all these different types of hustles that can apparently bring in around 10k a month. That's the big number that they always like to show in their thumbnail. And honestly, that's far from the truth. Yes, maybe down the line, but it's never going to be that easy. And that's just generally the truth. Now, let's get on to what I actually had done that generated my first bit of online income. Don't get me wrong, I tried all the silly ideas I just mentioned, but I never actually fully committed to them, and that's the difference. That's what really made this successful. So anyway, I've dragged this on enough. What I had started was lead generation. So I'd call up business owners, I would offer to get them more work and more quality work at that. So what I would do is I'd either upgrade the website, build them a whole new website. I would look at their Google business page. I would see if it needed more work. I would see if they need more reviews, maybe more photos, maybe just a few things tweaked. Even SEO. I never knew how to do SEO until I started. None of these things I knew how to do until I started. And that's the difference. You just start and you'll learn along the way. Okay? But yeah, it wasn't sunshine and rainbows. There was really a grind behind it. Obviously, cold calling every day. I was getting constantly rejected for over a month. And cold calling sucks, to be honest. You know, you're pitching yourself, you're pitching a service to a business owner who doesn't want to hear it, doesn't have time for you, and you've got to sit there and try and sell to them. It's difficult. But here's the thing I learned. Repetition. You will get so good at failing constantly. If you fail fast enough, you will get better way faster. So I just kept dialing, and after every call I would improve. My script would sound better, my personality on the phone would sound better, I would sound more genuine, and over time I could see that progress myself. No matter that I had not closed a sale, I could see I was improving. I was getting them on the phone for longer, I was getting them asking questions, I was getting them curious. And once that 1 month mark had passed, I felt good because I could see the progress that I had made. But in the back of my mind, throughout the whole month, I was still doubtful. I was still saying to myself that it wasn't going to work out and I wasn't going to generate any money, and that I was wasting my time instead of looking for a full-time job. But I just kept calling, as in my mind, the next call could be my next sale. So I just kept dialing. And it's a numbers game, it really is. The more numbers you dial, the higher chance you have of closing a sale. So I just kept that in mind and I kept going. And I kid you not, around 2 to 3 days after the first month had passed and I was meant to have quit, I got my first sale. And seeing that notification on my phone pop up saying that I just made my first paid amount for a service that I had created, service that I had done for the client, was insane. The dopamine rush was insane, and I wanted more of it. So what I did was I sat down, I analysed the past month. What was I doing wrong? What was I doing right? How did I close that sale? And I repeated it over and over and over again on every single call. And within my second month, by the end of it, I had closed 5 clients compared to my first month where I had closed 0. I had made over 1k upfront from sales, and I had created over £100 a month passively now from recurring monthly fees from these clients. And it was an amazing feeling. I felt genuinely on top of the world, and that I could do anything as long as I put my mind to it. So month 3 rolled around, I did the exact same thing. I analysed what I was doing right, I analysed what I was doing wrong, and I implemented it onto the 3rd month. And then the 3rd month came around, and I had closed another 5 clients. Again, I felt on top of the world. I felt like I was really moving the needle forward in my life, and that I was doing something that I was happy with. So by this point, I went all in. Every day, I was thinking about it. I was working towards it. I had made social media pages. I had my own website. I was promoting it every chance I had. And there was one big flaw this entire time when I was doing it and when I was working towards this business, and that was the cold calling. Out of everything, that was the one thing I hated and despised the most, was calling businesses every day, getting constantly rejected, getting people swearing at me and cussing me out over the phone because I had called them when they were busy. And I got too ahead of myself. I decided with the money that I had made, I was going to start paid advertising. So I did my research, I chose meta ads, and within my first month, I had spent around 60 to 70% of all of my total revenue that I'd made from this business. And my heart was in bits. You know, I went from feeling on top of the world to feeling like a complete idiot. And it was when, at this point, I realized that I was going to have to go back to the thing I despised the most, which was cold calling. Because the paid advertising didn't work out, I had no other way to get clients. And I couldn't take it. I got burnt out. And that's the whole reason why I had quit. I had lost many things when I had started this side hustle, as it took up so much of my time. I couldn't go to the gym as much anymore. I couldn't really focus on my diet. I didn't really go out with my friends or family as much, as I just didn't have the time for it. Every time I got out of work, I was spending my time cold calling, improving, and just in general working on the hustle. So that's why I had to quit. I couldn't take it anymore. I had gotten burnt out, and the idea of working on it again just sickened me. So that kind of brings me to where I am today and why I've started this channel. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I clearly don't have it all figured out, and I'm sure you don't either. So if that's something you're interested in, hopefully you'll stick around. I'm always honest, and I'm always going to talk from past experiences or advice I've heard from myself or things that I'm going to apply over the next 5 years to hopefully improve my life and my career and get me to where I want to go. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe, leave a comment, like. It would be really appreciated.